He's beautiful, isn't he? Melissa Sawyer was brought in by her mother at 2:19 a.m. According to her, she'd gone into labor about 20 minutes prior. There were no records of Melissa's pregnancy, and when triage inquired about that, she declined to comment. X200B either way, she had a baby coming, and it was coming fast. There wasn't much time to deal with the fine details. Those could be dealt with later. X200B. The nurses brought Melissa up to the obstetric unit, and after giving the poor girl an epidural, they sent her to one of the labor and delivery rooms. X200B. I was the poor sap on shift in Cunts and Runts that morning. So when the time came, I was the one in the room to oversee the birth. X200B. At a glance, it wasn't much different than any other birth I'd seen, and trust me, I've seen a lot. X200B. She was in active labor by that point, and about 7 centimeters dilated. I coached her through as I usually do. And again. Up until the baby actually started crowning, nothing was all that out of the ordinary. X200B. But yeah. Then the kid started crowning. X200B. I think it's pretty common knowledge that most kids look a little fucked up right out of the womb. Some more than others. I've delivered all sorts of kids before, even a few Harlequin babies, so I'm used to fucked up. X200B. But the thing that came out of that woman. Christ. X200B. The thing that came out of her was not a Harlequin baby. X200B. I'm not even entirely convinced that it was human. X200B. It looked human, for the most part, but it was such a deep and unsettling shade of bluish purple that I thought it was dead at first. And the sound it made. It was different than any baby's cry I've ever heard. It was more like the feral scream of a dying animal. It opened its blood-red eyes to look at me, screaming in the voice of Satan himself. I'm not a religious person, but if ever there was an Antichrist, this had to be it. X200B. I could only stare at this horrible thing, and barely resisted my urge to drop it, and before I could think, her mother collected the baby from my arms, cradling it as she showed it to Melissa. X200B. I expected her to scream, X200B, but she looked at that child with total adoration as she swaddled it in her arms. Oh. He's beautiful, isn't he? She panted. I had to leave the room to vomit. X200B. Melissa Sawyer checked out of the hospital only a few hours after the birth. Those of us in the room were the only ones who saw what came out of her. X200B. Most of them quit that week. X200B. Me? I'm handing in my resignation tomorrow. I don't think I've got it in me to set foot in a delivery room again.